Hello everyone, it is Dave Ruthick, aka Realtor Dave, middle of May 2018. It's a slow market up there, and I do see news stories talking about these sorts of things, talking about Canadian real estate being down, but I don't always know if people really drill down to the stats to see how slow it is. And this is not to put a negative spin on things, but I think people need to be aware of what's going on right now. And here's the stats for Calgary. So this month so far, the first 2 weeks of May, sales are down 24%. New listings up 7%, total inventory up 34% from this time last year. This time last year was a fairly average year in terms of the 10-year rolling average. So when you compare these numbers to last year's numbers, they're a pretty good idea what the standard should be. I see other places, Toronto, Vancouver, that were white hot at this point in time last year, and the fact that sales are down 30% in those places doesn't really matter because they're closer to long-term averages. Now, if we delve into stats a little bit more, though, this is kind of where we start to see the more interesting things. Up until this point in time, since the downturn, detached homes have been the star of the show, maintaining their value better than most, keeping the sales up, inventory down. However, we're looking at things right now. Sales for detached homes in May are down a fairly staggering 30%. New listings up 13%, so total inventory is up 46%. That's massive. This time last year, 2,800 for sale. Now we're up over 4,000. We're at almost 4,200. Along these lines at this point in time, we are starting to see prices come down. Prices for detached homes are down about 3%. Now, the interesting thing is, compared to a year ago, the best performing sector now is apartments, which I don't really buy. I think that apartments have been slow for so long that they've kind of hit a bottom where they can't get any slower. But if we're looking at sales at this point in the year, this point in the month, sales are only down 8% from this time last year, which actually is pretty similar to what they were in April. New listings are down 4%, which maybe, actually kind of explains what's going on. Total inventory is up 11%, but nowhere near kind of obviously where the detached are. So, oddly enough, apartments are now the star of the show. I'm hesitant to say that because they've come down so much, but apartments might have just hit the bottom and they're on the way back up now, a little bit sooner than I thought. And to say they're on the way back up, I wouldn't say that. I'd say sales are on the way back up. Prices still probably are not going up anytime soon, but that's where apartments are. Prices on the overall market are still holding fairly steady. But when we look at the overall numbers, look at the market as a whole, there's 700 sales, just over 700 sales for the first 2 weeks of May against over 8,100 8,100 listings. So when you kind of look at that, you kind of combine those numbers and say the 700 sales against, basically what would have been 8,800 listings in Calgary, you kind of get a sense that you're really looking at about 1 in 12 chance of selling these days through the first 2 weeks of May anyways, and that's low. It's not good, and that's kind of why we're seeing what we're seeing. Now, if you want some positive news, like I said, the prices are still holding fairly steady. I suppose a negative kickback to that would be, I wonder how long that can be when we're looking at these numbers. The rental market is much stronger these days, and I think what I'm really seeing now is these mortgage rules have had big impact on people's ability to buy. And if people cannot buy, they're looking at prices saying, well, they're probably not going to go up anytime soon, so there's no rush in the market. I can rent for a year, I can rent for 2 years, I can save my money, I get in position to buy the home that I want. I won't waste time buying a home that I don't want, and that's what people are deciding to do these days, and that's why sales are so low. Prices aren't really dropping, I believe, for a couple of reasons, but primarily sellers can't. Most of them don't have a lot of equity in their homes. They gotta sell for it to buy their next home, otherwise they're just gonna stay in their current home. I also think sellers do see that the economy is getting better, or at least we expect it to be better, and sellers are holding off making any drastic decisions at this point in time. I do think, thirdly, a lot of sellers have turned to the rental market where they found out that they could actually rent a place out fairly easily, or rent their home out fairly easily, and so as opposed to selling, losing money, they decided to rent it out. And so I think that's kind of the good news, is there's options there for sellers. For buyers these days, I think you can be picky, but most good deals go quickly still these days. So if any home's a deal, it tends to go off the market. Sellers are not usually taking big discounts off their list price. I do encourage you, though, if you see a home that's been sitting on the market for a while, or you think it's overpriced, take a shot at it. The worst thing they can do is say no, put an offer in and see what happens. That's all I want to say. If you have any questions on this one, as always, get a hold of me, 403-990-1278, or send me an email to d.ruthick@gmail.com. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.